Hey everybody, it's Karen. I'm talking about chapter 2, and I'll try to make this snappy, but I obviously have a lot of little things I want to talk about. So, this is a really important chapter because it's about conflict, and that is the essence of good drama. The way that we go from words on a page to a really compelling production is to look for the conflict. So on the bottom of page 25, they explain that what they use in this book is a conflict resolution structure. So read that part carefully, make sure you understand what they're talking about. You may not right away, but that is what they're doing in the whole book. So read that a couple of times. Any term that's in bold, you're going to want to make sure you understand. They talk about, on page 26, the term protagonist, the person who makes the action happen. Not all contemporary plays have one protagonist, and sometimes you get into great big arguments about exactly who the protagonist might be, if there is just one. And that's totally cool. Doesn't have to be the right answer. This is arguable. Look at the term opposing force. Often that is the antagonist. Pro is for, anti is against, right? And we as audience members like to watch conflict. That means we want to watch people who are struggling to get something that they want. If it's really easy, it's not that interesting. Okay, so then you're going to look at page 27. There's an introductory incident when the subject of the conflict is introduced. Look at that, the moment of engagement, meaning the moment when the protagonist engages or commits to achieving those hopefully really, really hard goals. There's a climax, which is, of course, like the top of the mountain with the story, and then there's the denouement. I'm going to say that again, and I want you to repeat after me. Denouement. Very good. So that's a fancy French word that means things are wrapping up, right? Or it's the resolution. And I think an important part of getting a college education is learning some fancy French words so you can impress your parents. So keep that in mind. That's the structure that we're talking about. Some of you have seen this thing called Freytag's pyramid, where he actually makes a little diagram of these things, and it looks kind of like that. So there's the introductory incident, which is sometimes also called the exposition, where we, the audience, learn who these people are, what they're doing, where we are in time, stuff like that. The moment of engagement, when things start to really ramp up, also called rising action sometimes. The climax, which is the peak of the drama. And the denouement, as the French say, and that is the wrap up. So make sure that you know all of that. And if you read that part and you're still kind of confused about it, there's some good videos on YouTube. I'm not going to recommend them. There's like 1,000 of them. You can find one. So on the bottom of 28, they point out that the process of determining a play's conflict, we learn the system for that in this book, and we have to employ both our logic and our intuition. And if you were in Tools for the Actor with me, you know that I call this art and craft. Your intuition is your art, and your craft are the tools that you learn, just like we're learning in this book. So to do play analysis well, you need both. All right, read the moving backwards from the climax if you're trying to figure out who the protagonist is, because the person who drives the play to that highest point, sometimes that tells you who the protagonist is. And then bottom of 29, they ask about the major dramatic question. If you take directing with me, and I hope you will, we call this the central dramatic action or central dramatic question. And it's the question, will this person get fill in the blank? Whatever the main person or the main people in the play are trying to do or trying to get, that is your major dramatic question or central dramatic action or question. On page 30, they do a good job of giving you a little formula to figure that out. Okay. Great. And then there's a bunch of questions. So read the chapter and read it again if you want. Email me if you have any questions, and have fun responding to the question prompts.